Hello, my name is James and welcome to Mirror Domains. Today I'm going to be talking about Rob Zombie's 31. Now, this is a horror movie that's, well, taking its tour on the movie review circuits, and I managed to watch it. I was sort of anticipating it because I like the premise. And the premise is this. A bunch of people get kidnapped, thrown into a warehouse type setting where murderers are selected to come into the warehouse and kill them in the most grotesque fashion ever. And of course, these murderers are hired by some, I guess, higher up people that are betting on who is going to be the last survivor. Okay. Now, I have not been a huge fan of Rob Zombie's film works. I sort of like the first Halloween, and I really didn't like Lords of Salem. But this is somewhere in the middle, sort of like on the Devil's Rejects level. It's kind of okay, it's passable. But you can tell that this was written by Rob Zombie, in the sense that, alright, they're all murderers, but every time that somebody's going to get murdered, they have to give this speech about life and humanity, or, give a little bit of poetry to set the mood for your gruesome death. And okay, that's fine for maybe one, maybe two characters, but all the murderers seem to have this ability to give this speech before they dispatch you, and it gets a little tiresome. The cinematography is okay. They try to do some stylistic things with that. I'll get into that more when I go through my score sheet here. But my quick ending thought on it is that there is some over-the-top acting with the upper echelon people, and I'll talk about that right now when I go into my score sheet. As you know, acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points that will contribute to the larger score out of 10. Acting. As I said, there were some over-the-top performances, especially from Malcolm McDowell and that upper echelon of people. They were like caricatures. Okay. But it was fine. It wasn't obscene, but some of the other characters just got annoying with how poetic they were when they were killing people. The only guy that I gave a pass to was this guy. Wow. I think he was in the first Batman Begins movie, who played the guy who killed Bruce Wayne's parents. He's a good actor, and he does a good job with the material that he was given in this movie. He does have this sinister vibe about him that just radiates through, and I like that. So for that, I will give the acting a 1.5. Moving on to the directing, as I said, you can tell that this is written by Rob Zombie. You can tell that this has his flavor in it. It has that kind of sideshow, freak show elements to it, and you're like, we've seen this before, Rob. Give us something different. But he did, sort of, with Lord of Salem. I don't know. Okay, as a premise, if you find the premise intriguing, sort of like The Running Man, yeah, it's like The Running Man. I don't know if I should award him points for that. It does have some stylistic choices with the cinematography. I'll give 1 for the directing. Story is straightforward. There are some gorish deaths. So if you want to see that kind of stuff, it delivers. Is it a compelling story? Can I say, go and watch this? Because it's so awesome, man. If you're a Rob Zombie fan and you like his works, then you will probably like this movie. Because there are some very Rob Zombie-isms in this movie. If you don't like him, well, obviously, you're not going to like this film. So for that, I got to give it right down the middle, a 1 for the story as well. Cinematography, okay. Some of the gore scenes in the beginning were happening a little too quick. It was too choppy, and you couldn't tell exactly what was going on. You couldn't tell who was getting hit where with the bat. Oh! And speaking of which, I said it was in a warehouse, but you never get the sense of the scope of this warehouse, how big it is, how big is their confinement. Because every killer that comes out, they seem to be going into a new area. And it's kind of like, well, how big is this place? They never really do a good job in establishing that. But the set pieces, some of the set pieces are worthwhile. The production design is okay. Cinematography, I will give 0.5. Sorry, it's serviceable. Score is serviceable. 0.5. So looking at that, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. It's not looking good so far. Moving on to the watchability factor. If you are a Rob Zombie fan, you will want to watch this film. So that's at least one viewing. I would say if you are interested in the premise too, of these people getting stuck in the warehouse and being forced to try to survive, the movie does sort of okay in setting up the characters. They're not just cardboard. They do spend a little bit of time with them in the beginning. So you get to know them a little bit. So you sort of are rooting for some of them, which is okay. Now, that being said, after watching it, do I really want to watch it again? I could give this a 1.5. I can't. So I'm just going to say at least watch it once, and that's probably good enough. That is a 1 for the watchability factor. Adding all that up, that is a 5.5 for 31. Sorry, that's how over the top some of the dialogue delivery is in the movie. So, alright, that's it. If you've liked what you've seen, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Trapped inside his house, and it's basically them trying to get out of the house. That's the gist of the movie.